She said it casually, like the words weren't sharpened in her mouth before she released them. "Stop introducing me as your future wife. It makes me look like I settled." I remember the silence first. Heavy, cold, a silence that pressed into my ribs before the meaning did. We were in the car, the city lights moving across her face, carving shadows that suddenly felt honest, too honest. She was scrolling through her phone, not even looking at me when she said it, not even blinking. I studied her profile, the tight jaw, the slight upward lift of her chin, that small, calculated cruelty that didn't appear overnight. I felt something shift inside me, a quiet crack, a rearranging. I didn't argue, didn't demand an explanation. I simply whispered, "Good to know." And it was. Good to know who she thought she was. Good to know what she thought of me. Good to know which version of us she'd been performing. That night, in the stillness of our apartment, I opened the shared calendar she'd built. Brunches, dinners, event RSVPs, engagement announcement rehearsals. My name everywhere, like a stamp she assumed she owned. I removed myself from every plan, every list, every expectation. Quietly, methodically. By morning, my absence was woven into the architecture of her week. 3 days later, she walked into brunch with her friends, laughing, confident, glowing in the way people glow when they believe everyone around them is blind. She didn't see the small black ring box waiting on her seat. She didn't see the folded receipt beside it. She didn't see the empty cushion where I should have been. Not yet, but she would. The slip didn't start with that sentence. It started long before. I just didn't want to see it. There were moments, tiny ones. The way she angled her phone away. The delayed responses. New clothes she said she just stumbled on. Dinners canceled with vague excuses. Nights she came home smelling like a place I hadn't been invited to. But I told myself she was tired, stressed, distracted. People in love make excuses. Fools, mostly. Then the tone shifted. Not outright contempt, more sophisticated than that. Small corrections, gentle humiliations disguised as jokes. Public comments meant to reframe me. A man she was settling for. A man who should be grateful. A placeholder. It was almost impressive how subtle she'd been. Like rearranging furniture 1 inch at a time. You don't notice the shift until you walk into a room and realize nothing is where it used to be. But the sentence in the car, that was the first honest thing she'd said in weeks. When someone stops pretending to love you, their real voice comes out. In that voice, she didn't see me as a partner. She saw me as an inconvenience she had outgrown. And still, I didn't accuse her of anything. I didn't storm or shout. That's not who I am. I observe, I absorb, and then I act. Her friends had always been careless. They talked too much, posted too much, documented moments she thought I'd never see. A tagged photo of her at a rooftop bar on a night she claimed she was with her sister. A comment under her picture, "He's obsessed with you." A reply she left, "It's cute, for now." Just 3 words, but they peeled back the skin on the truth. For now. For now until she secured something better, something richer, something more exciting. Someone else. The thought didn't break me, it focused me. I didn't confront her. No. Confrontation gives the other person control, lets them rewrite, manipulate, rearrange the truth until you don't recognize it anymore. I wanted clarity, not noise. So I watched. Her phone habits, her schedule inconsistencies, her sudden urgency in putting makeup on just to run errands, the way she slept facing the wall, clutching her phone under the pillow. Patterns reveal people. One night, after she drifted into shallow, restless sleep, her phone lit up with a preview. Same time tomorrow? No name, just initials. Initials I'd never seen. I didn't unlock it. I didn't need to. Not yet. The truth always surfaces when you stop chasing it. I checked bank statements next. 2 charges at a hotel bar across town. A rideshare trip that began near our apartment and ended near that same hotel. But the return trip? From a different address entirely. The pieces clicked into place, a puzzle of betrayal taking form. Still, I stayed composed. She kissed me goodbye in the mornings, lips cold, mind elsewhere. She laughed too brightly at dinner. She avoided eye contact too intentionally. Every detail was a confession. People forget that silence can be a scalpel, and I was already cutting away the last of my denial. So I started preparing. I gathered screenshots, dates, receipts, the digital breadcrumbs she thought she hid well. I moved quietly, efficiently, and then I made the appointment. Not with her, with the jeweler. Returning an engagement ring is a strangely liberating thing. You watch them inspect the diamond you once believed symbolized a future, and something inside you settles, hardens, clarifies. The refund receipt felt cold and clean in my hand. I placed the empty ring box in my pocket, not as a gesture of sadness, more like evidence. Evidence of what I now knew. She'd never wanted me. Just the idea of being wanted. 3 days later, the stage set itself. Her brunch, her friends, her curated audience. She walked in smiling. I waited outside the restaurant, leaning against my car, listening to the first crack of her world collapsing as she reached her seat and saw it. The black box, the empty cushion, and the truth she'd never imagined I would find. I didn't go inside. I didn't need to. Through the window, I watched the exact moment her face fell. First, confusion, then recognition, then fear. Not fear of losing me, fear of exposure. Her friends leaned in, whispering, eyes widening as she opened the box and found nothing inside. No ring, no velvet impression, just absence. A metaphor she finally understood. One of her friends picked up the folded paper beside it, the refund receipt, and her mouth dropped open. Another covered her hand with hers in quiet shock. But she froze. Frozen like someone who walked confidently into a room only to realize the floor wasn't real. She stood abruptly, scanning the restaurant for me. I could feel her heartbeat even from outside. When she found me by the window, our eyes locked. Her lips parted. I stepped inside then, slow, calm, every movement deliberate. She grabbed my arm the moment I reached her table. "What is this?" she whispered, voice trembling, panic blooming under her skin. I slid one envelope onto the table, thick, heavy with printed screenshots. Her messages, her hotel charges, her nights out, her for now. She stared at it like it was poison. I didn't sit, didn't explain. I simply said, "This is who you are." Her knees buckled. She sank into the chair, face pale, breath shuddering. Her friends looked at her like they didn't recognize her anymore. She opened the envelope with shaking fingers. Every page cut her. Every line stripped away another layer of the person she pretended to be. Then the final blow. A photo of her and him, captured from her friend's story before she could delete it. His hand on her waist. Her smile too familiar. Her voice cracked. "I can explain." "I know," I whispered. She froze. "I know" wasn't mercy. It was sentence. Her tears came fast, messy, desperate, uncalculated. Finally real. "I made a mistake," she choked out. "No," I replied, my voice low. "You made a choice." Around us, the brunch crowd pretended not to stare. Her friends looked torn between sympathy and disgust. She reached for my hand. I stepped back. Her expression shattered. "You can't just walk away," she whispered, but I already had, days ago. I leaned in slightly, enough for her to hear the final truth, the one that cut deeper than everything in the envelope. You said introducing you as my future wife made you look like you settled. A pause. Her breath hitched. The knife twisted. But you did settle, I said softly, just not for me. The table went silent. She shook her head violently. Please, please don't do this. I love you. No, I interrupted. You loved the attention. You loved the encores. You never once loved me. Her face crumpled. I placed the ring box back on the table, upside down. A symbol of reversal, of undoing, of unchoosing. Then I said the line that ended everything. You taught me something important. When someone shows you what you are to them, believe them. Her sob tore through the restaurant. I didn't look back. The air outside felt different, colder, cleaner, like it had been waiting for me to step into it. I walked to my car with a stillness I hadn't felt in months, a quiet settling of dust after a demolition. People think heartbreak is loud. It isn't. It's surgical. It's the moment you realize the wound stopped bleeding long ago. As I drove away, I didn't replay her tears. I didn't wonder if I'd been harsh. I didn't mourn a future that was never real. Some betrayals don't break you. They identify you. They show you precisely who you are when the performance ends. And I was done performing. I stopped at a red light, the city humming around me, and felt a calm heaviness in my chest, a space opening, a space that belonged only to me now. There was no anger left, no revenge left, just clarity. A truth I'd carved out slowly, painfully, strategically. The ring had been a promise, but the empty box, that was freedom. I rested my hand on the steering wheel and whispered the final thought aloud, quiet, brutal, and true. She didn't lose me. She revealed me. And that was enough.